If you've ever felt like you've done everything possible to win a match and you still end up losing, this video is for you. And yes, whether you're a tank player, a DPS player, or a support player, this all relates to you. If you really do feel like you put in all the effort possible and you still end up losing, or you even go on loss streaks, this video is for you. Speaking of loss streaks, a couple of my recent videos have been pertaining to that. So I have a video talking about how I feel like EOMM is not a real thing and it's just an excuse because players are having a hard time winning their matches. And I also have another video up discussing why players are having a hard time winning their matches, and it's due to lack of decision making. So if you want to check either of those out, feel free, but let's hop into this. So taking a look at this match, this player has been struggling recently. They've been on a loss streak. They went from Diamond 1 to Plat 1. And now a lot of players would think that that is something that we talked about recently in the previous video. They would think that it's EOMM and the matches are forcing you to lose and whatnot. But there's a lot more to this game that meets the eye, and that's something that a lot of players struggle on. So we're gonna watch your replay, we're gonna go through it, and we're gonna discuss what it is that we should be doing in order to give our team the win. Remember how I said in the previous video that I was talking about decision making, the matchmaking tries its best to give you 50-50, right? Sometimes it's in your favor, so it's 51-49. Sometimes it's not, and it's 49-51. You have one job, and that job is to make it so that it is 51-49. Whatever you need to do for your team to just give it that extra 1% in your favor is usually all you need to win the match. You do not need to be a hard carry. Anyone who says you have to hard carry matches, and that's the wrong mindset to be in, and that's the reason why people fall into the mindset of EOMM. You need to be a really good teammate in order to exceed and get to high ranks. It's not just about your personal performance. How do you work well with others? And so that's really going to be what we're focusing on here, because in your description that you explain, you do pretty well. You're a god. So we're going to see how we help our team. So first things first, we go in and we look for some poke damage. Not really necessary. As you notice, they know where you are now. You're forced out of your spot. Now you're just creating an opening for your team. Instead of having a really good fortified defense, you just made the game harder for your team. Although it might not seem like that's a lot, it is, because if this has ramifications, what just happened with you is why. So let's see what happens. Nice, good shot. Are we just doing our best to hold? Try to position a little bit better. I know you're trying to get your enhanced arrow, but try to put yourself more to the wall. The more you are to the wall, the less people can see you. And that's going to be good for you, because that means that you're going to minimize how much damage you take, indirectly making it so Luna doesn't have to continuously pocket you and she can focus on her teammates instead of you. This is good. We want to continue to watch the left side. The left side's important. You never want to leave any openings when you're defending any spot, whether it's a domination match, convoy, or convergence. You want to make sure that you have eyes everywhere, basically. All right, Iron Man flew past you. I don't think you noticed. You didn't notice. Okay, now Iron Man's in the back. This is pretty much what I was saying that should have happened the first time. You got pushed off and pushed down. They should have easily just been able to come through the back and just do what Iron Man's doing right now, but they didn't. And this is something that you don't usually get punished for until really high ranks, but that tends to happen quite a bit, and that's why I wanted to put so much emphasis on it, because it's very important. For that, you get picked. And that really only stemmed from the fact that you didn't pay attention to Iron Man coming through. So you could say, well, you know, my team should have noticed it too, because I was taking out people. But at the end of the day, remember, our goal is to make it an easier win for our team. We were supposed to be a good team player. If you're really a good Hawkeye player, if you're really good at taking people out, you should be paying attention to all 6 players on the enemy team. And should anybody get into the vicinity of your team, you should be looking to take them out. Because you failed to do so, we're ending up in a situation where we get run over and the team gets wiped. This happens really frequently, and again, a lot of players don't really notice these little small things that lead to these huge ramifications. You know, a lot of people focus more on, it's a shooting game and I just got to get more KOs and I got last hits and my healing is great and my damage is great and my blocking is great. There's more to it than the scoreboard. There's more to it than the stats, and that's what keeps a lot of players from climbing, and that's what makes them go on loss streaks. Because believe it or not, these stats that you see, inconsistent. You can't guarantee your healing is going to be good every single match. You can't guarantee the damage that you block is going to be good every match. You can't guarantee the damage that you do is going to be consistent. You can't guarantee last hits. You can't guarantee anything. But what you can guarantee is the consistency in your play style. Just because you have 30 last hits this match doesn't mean the same thing can happen next match. How are you going to win the next match if the KOs aren't what's leading you to the win? You're just getting more KOs. You see what I mean? But if I have 0 last hits, but the strategy that I'm using is what I'm using to win matches, that is something that I can be consistent about. This is why it's very important to think more about the big picture instead of the stat picture. So of course, we're gonna have to let that point go. Perfectly fine. Sometimes you lose the fight. Nothing to be upset about. And it just happens. We're in a very bad spot. We're in the open. We're grouping with our team. Remember, the goal, no matter which role you are, which character you are, if you can cause the enemy to have to move their camera, that's huge. If we look at the Iron Man here, let's say he's coming, right? And you're over here. I'll just do this. I'll just draw because, So instead of being here, and you're here, well, when he comes out, he's going to either have to stay behind cover, but he's going to get shot by your entire team. Or if he decides to come out, you're going to shoot him, right? And if he does notice you do that, what is he going to have to do? Well, any sane player that's getting shot is going to have to be like, who's shooting me? And now his camera's over here and not at your team. Indirectly, you're adding that 1% value to your team that makes the game much easier for your team to deal with. All right, so we're hiding here on the side, which is perfectly fine. Now they have a Hawkeye, so it's Hawkeye versus Hawkeye. Whenever you're dealing with shooting and any shooting game, the person that has the high ground has the advantage. It's way easier shooting down than it is shooting up. So if you're gonna have a snipe battle with this guy, then you wanna make sure that you're on even playing field or you're above the guy so that it's easier for you. This could be remedied by just going over here, by the way. Just going over here is enough for you to be able to take your shot. You can even jump up here and hold this angle too, right? Now you might get hit by him, so you gotta be a little bit careful. But I believe this blocks shots. I don't think shots go through this, if I remember correctly. So you could just come up to here and now you're blocked and you can hold this angle. Should you get run at, you just drop down and you're good to go. But because you're not up there, they're able to just rain fire down on your team and you're pretty scared to even do anything because you're getting shot, which is respectable. You are getting shot, you can't do much. But again, the goal is to make it easier, right? Okay, you heard that, Doctor Strange opening a portal, you back up. Very smart. You ult, beautiful. Nice, very, very good counterplay there. Very good counterplay. In a situation like this, I wouldn't even chase the character. What this does is just break formation. When Jeffs do this, do not chase him. Maybe if you can get him before he leaves, but he's too far. You're not getting this character. Let Jeff do Jeff, and you continue to focus on the fight that's in front of you. Because if we go to them, look what happens because you went over there to chase Jeff. Remember, like it really comes down to you need to be there for your team all the time, as much as possible, no matter what team game it is. This game, League of Legends, Valorant, Counter-Strike, whatever, you need to be with your team most of the time. Whenever you're taking away, especially because you feel like you're the carry, you feel like you're very good at the game. Whenever you're gone, who is the person good at the game when you're gone? Right? So if you're always away and the fights break out and you're not there, they're gonna keep winning them. It's not because your team sucks, it's just because you're the powerhouse on the team. And if you're the powerhouse on the team, the way to win is getting you out to fight somehow. That's pretty much how it works. Because your team already lost the fight, you should have just ran away. There's no reason to be there. Whenever a fight is lost, you leave, because this basically allows a snowballing effect. When you have a snowballing effect, it's going to feel like you can't fight. It feels like your team sucks. It feels like it's horrible. It feels like the game is against you. And I'm not saying you're saying that, but that's what it feels like, because you're always fighting losing battles. So it feels like your team is just horrible. But if there's always one person picked off every time you fight, or 2 people or 3 people, you're never going to win. You're never going to win these fights. This is why I say strategy is more important, because that is something that's consistent. What's on the scoreboard is not. You can have really good games in terms of like KOs and last hits, and really poor games in terms of KOs and last hits. But at least if you play your strategy well, you're good to go. So what I think we should do is just play around cover more often. I also noticed a lot of the spots that you're holding are not relevant. When you are holding positions, you want to think of it, and I like to call it like a tower defense. If you think of it as a tower defense, you can hold the spots better, right? So if we like zoom out real quick and we're like, okay, where are they coming from? Well, in order for them to get through this spot, let's just say you already lost this point. You have to come through here, here, or here. Right, more or less, that's where they're coming from. So if we were to hold a position to block one or more of those areas, where would it be? Would it be here? Well, no, because if they come up there, you're getting shot and you have to move anyway. You can hold it this way. Well, you kind of can to see that, but you're going to get ran up on right there, and then you're going to be pushed out or KO'd, right? Would it be here where you are right now? Well, you can hold it from coming that way, but it doesn't prevent them from flowing out of there or flowing out of there. And as I said, we're just taking the example of like this point is taken. What about right here? Well, you can see that spot, you can see that spot, you can see that spot. So we would hold something right here, or maybe up here. Again, you can kind of see all those locations from right there. This is something you're struggling with when it comes to holding. What you're doing is you're reacting to where players are rather than playing proactively, which is thinking about where they will be. And once they get by you, they're going to get picked off. This is something you're going to notice if you pay attention to any top Hawkeye players. They don't do what you do because they position in spots where they know they'll walk through. This is something akin to Valorant. This is something akin to Counter-Strike players. They will wait for you to cross over. But in order for you to cross over that section, the player needs to know where that section is. All right, so we're able to defend the point. Again, we want to think about the tower defense that we just talked about, right? If we zoom out, where are they going to come from? Is that magic? Oh God, it's magic. Dude, magic is freaking OP. All right, where are they going to come from? Well, they can come from here. They could kind of do some weird funky stuff and come from there. They could technically do the same thing and come from there. So it's the same location though. They can come through here, right? And then they can also do something and come from behind you guys as well. So there's a few places they can come from that is really, really rough. If we decided to hold, what would be a good spot for us to hold to kind of counter all those situations? Well, if we were able to get up here and take this magic out, we could hold this spot. And if anybody tries to walk up on you, they can come from around and stuff like that, but you just have to listen for that. You can't hold all those angles at once, right? You're only one player. But sitting up somewhere right here allows you to hold this spot, and it also allows you to hold this spot. But what you could also do is maybe sit back here, right? It allows you to hold this spot. You can see everything down there. You also got a little lip for cover. This works great for cover. They can only see half your body. And you can see up there. Now, could you see behind you? Once again, no, but you're not going to be able to hold all those angles at once. It's impossible. If you start getting pushed up, you can also hold right here, right? And so how you gauge where to hold when you are fighting is you have to think about it kind of like this. I always have like these weird analogies, but you have to work with me, right? So you've seen cartoons where like if somebody's fighting and fighting and fighting, it's like a whole circle of cloudy smoke and hands and feet and heads are all popping out, right? And it's called a dog pile. And they'll just start rolling around everywhere, right? As they fight, they're rolling around, they're rolling around. This is pretty much how you want to think about Marvel Rivals team fights. I know, like, work with me. So if we're gauging where to hold and we think about it as Marvel Rivals team fights are dog piles, we need to adjust on the fly. So right now, let's just say magic wasn't there. Right now you can hold here, right? We'll hold here, we'll hold here. As soon as we see them starting to push up, like right now, right? You can't hold this anymore. You have enough time to leave and not be in danger. So you leave, reposition, because the dog pile just moved forward, and maybe you hold here. As they end up getting closer, let's just say your team couldn't hold, you double jump, and you hold here. And as the dog pile moves, you move back. You don't hold the same exact spot. Again, this is something that you're really struggling on, is just holding positions and understanding when to reposition. All right, going out. This one's a little bit different because we're playing attack instead of defense. So we try to port behind, which is fine. This is fine, just get in cover. It's okay to just chill out and take another angle. You don't need to follow your team. You could come up here, reposition. When you are playing, you want to be more selfish in terms of your movements. And I know that might seem very, very weird because I just said you need to be a good team player. But what I mean by selfish with your movements is like, even if you're a tank or support or whatever, as long as you can do your job, it doesn't really matter where you are on the map. So as an example, there's some times where I'll play Doctor Strange and I will walk all the way here by myself and my team is down there, right? That's not trolling. I'm trying to break open the point. I'm trying to make something happen. Am I still tanking? Yeah, I'm still there. I'm still causing a threat. It's not like I'm just hiding. I'm doing damage. They see me. They're still focusing me. But I'm just doing it in a really obscure way that helps us break open the point if we're struggling. When we're playing support, it's going to be the same exact thing, right? Sometimes you can take angles right here if they leave you alone, and you can still heal your tank. Instead of being right here in the middle of the fire, if you know that you're safe, you could be over here until they break the wall, of course. But you could be over here and you could be healing. You can even do it from here, right? You see how much of a difference it makes just by positioning better? Like this game is struggling because we're not really thinking ahead. We're just thinking about what's in front of us. Nice. Okay, we're not a tank. I know you feel tanky because you're getting healed, but you gotta keep in mind, you can't have that ego. You're not the only one. All Hawkeye players play like this. It's actually really funny. Think about it. After we got that pick, what's next? Well, we can use our Hawkeye bombs. We can walk here, use our Hawkeye bombs to blow that wall up. What we also could do is come this way. If you didn't know, you can actually get behind them by coming up here. And you don't even need like double jumps or anything. You can jump on that rock, jump on this rock, then go up and make your way around. And now you're in a really, really good position to take shots, especially if they don't hear you or see you. And you end up right here. What is Magic gonna do once your team pushes her off? She's gonna get shot by you. That's another pick. And then your team moves in, another pick. Jump up here, make some stuff happen. You see the difference between proactive gameplay and reactive gameplay. You're only reacting to what's in front of you. We're not really thinking about what's the next step. How can I do this for my team? How can I make an opening? It's just you. And again, that's not a you specific problem. This is Marvel Rivals community in general. A lot of people have never played team games before in their life before playing this game. And a lot of players have never played strategy games that involve a team before this game. So it's not like something to feel ashamed about because you never knew about it. It just, now if you played other games before and you still are like, dude, forget my team. Well then, that's jacked up. That's disrespectful. So you see how you have a pick and we didn't do anything with it? We're just like, so what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You're waiting for them to be stupid. But if you climb to Diamond 1 and almost Grandmaster and players don't end up doing stuff like this and they just sit there with you, what are you gonna do? Just sit there with them? Right? Just very reactionary. Again, I would like to see that wall broken. You see this Magic? She's actually being really proactive. Look at her. Look at that. Look at that. Proactivity. Where are you guys going to come from? Where can I position so you can't see me? Proactivity. Now, whether or not she plays well is, another situation entirely. She should have been a little bit more patient. But it's stuff like that that will win you the matches. So if I were in your shoes, I'd work on a few things. The first thing is being more proactive. A lot of how we're playing the game is very reactive. A lot of how we're playing the game is like, I'm just looking at you and whatever you do, I'm going to be a god and react to it or shoot you out of an animation or stuff. We're just too egotistical when it comes to that. And you might not be thinking that, but your gameplay says that. And again, all Hawkeye players play this way until like really, really high ranks. They're very like, I'm going to one-shot you. Don't do that. Be more proactive where you're holding. Be more proactive as a team player. How can I get my team this win? It's not through just getting KOs. It's not through just last hitting. I promise you, you're getting more value by positioning better. You're getting more value by flanking. You're getting more value by doing all of the extra stuff that you're not doing in this game right now. We also want to think about the other thing, which is going to be positioning in areas that causes their team to turn their camera. A lot of the times we're positioning in the team. So yes, we have proactive positioning, But that second thing is we're not positioning well in general. We're just positioning in a spot that can see them and shoot them. That's all. But you don't realize you're soaking up so much resources from your team. The healer's healing you and looking at you, and that's just a lot that could be given to your tanks in front of you. It could be given to the other DPS that might not be that great at it, things like that. And then the third thing is just your relevance during the match. Whenever you're away, whenever you're gone, your team gets obliterated every single time. And I guarantee if you watch all your other replays, anytime you lose, and if you feel like you lost hard, it's because you weren't there. That's all it was. You weren't there. So if we work on those things, you will become a very good player very quickly, and you'll become a much more consistent player. What I want you to do is just blank out this Hawkeye and just say, how do I be a better team player for you? How can I create openings for you? What can I do to make it so that we can get this point? Also, remember, guys, if you want your own personal replay review, check the highlighted pinned comment down below. This player is a member. I appreciate you being a member. As I said before, you guys are the reason why I can even do things like this and give out these VOD reviews and give out these free coaching and do these events. Like, it's all you guys. And I really, really, really do appreciate your support. You guys have been wonderful, and I love you guys also. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys would like to jump to the front of the line, or you just want to support the channel just like these members have been, please click that join button down below. Or if you don't see the join button, there should be a link down below as well. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often, live often.